Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. It is so good to be back. I took a little break, I went on a vacation, and we are back to the daily grind, talking about what's happening in the market, especially as we've been looking at Palantir Technologies. It broke over 30 bucks as I was gone. Great to see that for the bulls, and especially what's been happening with earnings looking very good and a lot of successful partnerships. We're going to be breaking down what this means for PLTR in the future. Is there still room to grow? And with the broader market that has had many successful days since the big sell-off in the beginning of August, what's that going to mean come this Friday as Jerome Powell from the Fed is going to be making a very important statement regarding what could be happening to interest rates come September. If you are a new or returning viewer, thank you guys so much for coming back. Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, pop it up on the screen here. What we see with Palantir Technologies closing at 32.50, looking very healthy in the bullish case. You can see we had that $30 level of resistance, and if people got in at the dip right here with PLTR in the beginning of August, coming down here to $22 and already up over 10 bucks from where it was just a few weeks ago, people could be making a lot of money right now. But what we're seeing for trading volume is at about 52 million. This is pretty average for PLTR. Quickly toggling over here to the options, what we are seeing for end of the week expirations is a lot of volume at the $32.50 strike price and at the $33 strike price, even some activity at the $34 strike price. So a lot of bullish activity right now. People are still keeping their hopes up for PLTR at this high price, which is kind of being correlated with what we're seeing in the news, and especially what we've been seeing publicly. Talking about PLTR with their amazing total revenue that was up 27% year over year, and we see that 55% year over year increase in U.S. commercial revenue. They're continuing to set the bar and even beat the bar in terms of expectations that have been set by Wall Street. Considering that the customer count is continuing to grow, the momentum for PLTR is causing a lot of these different analysts to lift their price targets, which is making everybody bullish, considering that Palantir is continuing to set these new 52-week highs on the back of multiple new deals. Now, some of the recent partnerships that even I learned about with PLTR is that they announced their partnership with Wendy's Quality Supply Chain to accelerate digital transformation, AI adoption, and operational decision making. One of the bigger announcements, of course, is PLTR announcing its advancement of its partnership with Microsoft. This is a really big one, in that it's going to allow these two companies to bring some of the most sophisticated and this cloud analytic capabilities to the U.S. defense and intelligence community. Now, we know one thing for sure is Palantir really did build up a strong resume with working with the U.S. Department of Defense. We've seen this with many governmental contracts. I'm going to say that's how they really built up their credibility. And now with their kind of dipping into and their expansion into the commercial side of things, this allows them to diversify their clientele. And the fact here that Palantir and Microsoft are now going to offer an integrated suite of technology, allowing national security to basically utilize Microsoft's large language models and service with Palantir's AIP platform. This is going to be very, very bullish for both of these companies together, Microsoft and Palantir included. We see here LifeWallet announced a new subscription partnering here with Palantir, and basically in summary is that many partnerships are being announced. And the fact that Palantir now, people I think are starting to have a little bit of FOMO in, where was everybody when people were given the bearish case at 20 bucks? One thing that we are seeing is the hedge fund holders up to 45 now. As you can see here, they're continuing to grow. We're seeing this into the finance world, and overall right now PLTR ranks 8th on the trending AI stocks here according to the latest news and analyst ratings. One bullish thing that I am seeing, especially with the market, we're going to be talking about this here in a second, is we already have 11 earning per share revisions in the bullish direction here for the next quarter earnings. Now, I know you're like, hey, we just had quarter earnings. Why are we talking about the next one? What I'm talking about here is what we're seeing the differences in what Wall Street is expecting right now. And this does come with one of the big turnarounds that we've seen in the market, especially as the market in the S&P 500 notched the longest win streak of 2024 as this August turnaround continues. And we're seeing the AI stocks that are continuing to really help bring up the broader market, specifically talking about NVIDIA and also big tech stocks like Tesla. Now, talking about what we have seen here, the NASDAQ has logged its 8th consecutive session. Like I said, heavyweight NVIDIA and Tesla helping to continue with this rally. As a measure of these strong gains, we're basically wiping out the correction that we saw in the beginning of August due to the potential recession kind of risk and that I want to say FUD that was starting to be spread across the market, and that sentiment was being spread across the media. What we're seeing now is that Wall Street is really kind of turning their focus on what Fed Jerome Powell is going to be talking about at the Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday. This is going to be a quiet week for economic data, so we could see volatility that actually decreases. But one of the big things that I think led to this turnaround was confidence that a soft landing for the economy grows. Goldman Sachs report that now sees a lower likelihood of a true recession. This means that Wall Street is placing more of a bet on that soft landing rather than a hard one. And the question really is going to be will the Fed be lowering the interest rates in September, and by how much? Right now, the market on Monday morning, traders are pricing in a 72% chance, you can see right here, to reduce rates by 0.25, 25 basis point at the meeting, and 28% of a chance to cut it by 50 basis points. Now, it'll be interesting to see the release of Wednesday of minutes from the Fed's July meeting. They could sway those bets. But right now, a high probability of at least the first interest rate cut come September. What we are also seeing, we're going to see the expectations and a lot of trading and volatility with NVIDIA. Now, what NVIDIA sits at right now is at $130. We also see a big rebound here, especially because they were at $28 just a few weeks ago. They have their earnings that is set for August 28th. That's not too far away after the close of trading. Now, Morningstar comes out with this article talking about what to watch for in NVIDIA's Q2 earnings. Right now, what we're seeing, fair value estimates is at $105. Now, we do see a lot of price targets from different analysts. We even see this with Palantir. A lot of these AI stocks are trading at a high price right now, at a high valuation. But we're seeing that being basically kind of disregarded with the momentum that we're seeing with what these companies are producing in terms of earnings reports. Looking at Q2 earnings for NVIDIA. Morningstar saying here they think NVIDIA is going to report results exceeding guidance while projecting even higher revenue in the October quarter. And they still believe that the firm is supply constrained, and that is why revenue is somewhat kind of capped by the production availability of these different manufacturers that are actually producing these semiconductor chips. So basically saying they have a fire that is still growing at a rapid pace. The only thing that they could possibly be seeing restricting revenue is those supply constraints. Now, GPU growth, we're seeing Microsoft here, Meta, Amazon, all continuing to grow as they really dive into AI technology. We're even seeing this with Google. They have conceded that it is far riskier, and I agree with the statement 100%, that it's riskier to basically underinvest in AI than overinvest. The amount of exposure and the trendiness behind the whole what we call artificial intelligence and how it can really transform these companies, bring a lot of revenue to them by just increasing efficiency, productivity, finding the bad variables within the basically business algorithms. This is still looking well for NVIDIA. We see AMD also boosting their guidance. These semi-chip conductors, a lot of demand is coming in. And I think we're going to continue to see growth. And I agree with Morningstar right here. Even with the fair value estimate for NVIDIA, I think we're still going to see expectations that NVIDIA is going to report the results exceeding guidance. Other than that, it's great to be back. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. I want to know, what do you guys think about here with Palantir? Some people are predicting with the cup in hand that we are seeing that we could be possibly seeing a breakout into the 45. That is where the high for this cup and handle that hasn't formed. I mean, I don't have the right chart set up right here, but that's where the cup and handle is. They're saying the breakout could get up to 45. Do you think that is possible, or do you think we're going to see a little bit of a correction? Some people are also saying, and what will be interesting to see is if this $30, if we see a little bit of a correction here in PLTR, we've had a good run up for it, will that $30 become a new support level? That would be very, very astonishing. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later. It's wonderful to be back.